first game. You start off the season against Oregon in Memorial Stadium. Talk a little bit about what to expect from this Bulldog program. Are we going to get back to the Bulldog team's role, which is just round you and pound you to death, and that type of offense and defense that you bring to the field?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you. It's good to be back. It's actually going to be here today. Either way, just 3 months ago, I thought I'd be sitting over on that side of the table, not this side. But no, I mean, the really cool thing, we're talking about going into the season. And I heard a question earlier, like, what's your team? I think you'd ask somebody what their team strength is, so I got me thinking about it. And I think that our guys, and what's going to be really important going forward is we got a giant chip on our shoulder. Because I think a lot of people say, well, Butler had the run, they had to bring 25, 26 years, and that's over now. So, I don't know if it was Mark Twain or whoever it was said that, reports of my demise are greatly exaggerated. So I think, the first thing we're trying to do with these guys is just kind of get them, back to what we're used to doing, back to what, Butler was in 26, 27 years. So, in the process of breaking some habits that maybe have been done along the way, just to get back to who we are. But, who you're going to see that we are on the 23rd isn't, and I really hope it's not, who we're going to be on September 23rd, October 23rd. So, not only that same type of football, but that commitment to continue to improve. And I think that's always been something that, that's been a part of the DNA of our program, that we always improve, we're always continuing, whether it's individually, whether it's as a group or as a unit, and just that continue to press forward the brand is satisfied.
Love it. And you use a leader very similar to Coach Meck, that seemed that he was at Butler forever, and Zach Lawrence. How do you replace him at quarterback? What did you expect at that quarterback position, a pivotal spot on that Bulldog?
Sure. Replacing an outstanding quarterback is an entertainment for us. We replaced all Americans, replaced all state guys, and Zach can be no different. Really the fun part about this for me is just taking this group of kids, like just taking this big lump of clay and trying to figure out who are they, and what is the personality of this team, what buttons do you push to motivate this team. But along those lines, like from an offensive perspective, since we're asking, like, we're just going to throw a whole bunch of offense out there. And we are. And our kids know that. We can throw a whole bunch of things out there, just see what sticks, see what we're good at. So, kind of personnel is going to dictate that, how fast we're picking things up. And going back to that personality, who are we going to be as a team? So our quarterback, while quarterback's important, he's just 111 to the equation for us on the offensive side of the ball. He's got a job to do. He's got a really important job, but he's still 111 to the offense. So, what are we going to do? What are we going to do with those other 10 spots that benefits him the most? And vice versa, how does our quarterback play benefit our other positions? And that's up to me and our coaches to make sure that all that stuff is tied together.
So who are these gentlemen to your left and right?
All right, so we've got, I brought all seniors with me. So we really have a very small senior class this year. We're about 8 or 9 of them. So we've got half the seniors. And, these are all guys that have played for us. So, all the way to my left here is Butler. And Donovan actually played quite a bit as a 10th grader, that last season I was out there. Next to me is James Bastis. James, a basketball player, is also a runner. He did quite a bit of that from last year as well. I got, Tyler next to me. And you're going to hear from Tyler, I'm sure. I put him next to me in case I have to take the microphone away at some point. But Tyler's going to play all over the place for us. So there's running back, receiver, landing, side of the ball. And then all the way to our right here is Stone Silver. Stone's got a lot of experience last year as a defensive back, and certainly as a senior. And that's a big thing with these 4 guys and those other seniors, that they know me. And they know how I like to practice, and they know what's expected. So their job is just think of their coaching staff. Because our entire coaching staff at this point either played at Butler or they have a son play at Butler. And that is 100% of our staff. So we got a bunch of guys that know what Butler football is about, how it's run, what the priorities are to it. And we see that you're going to be a big part of that and kind of educate those young guys.
My question is for all the players. What is the best thing so far about playing for Coach Hales?
I guess the thing about playing for Coach Hales, probably the intensity of the players, the environment change that it is. Like, you can see how the other guys really don't do things about how they move around the team.
Coach Hales, all I'll say is the fact that we just really care, you know what I'm saying? The fact that he lived and to be close to the scene, to come back to really think says a lot, how he thinks, you know what I'm saying? Everything he does has a pretty obviously he's dealing with you to get you to see how you react to situations and how you take skills too.
I'll say how he really brought us back together, like when acting like Nate, we all thought Nate was gonna have to make so yes, he found such a thing that really brought a lot of people back and like that we all came like close together, we one team now. Yeah.
Players, was Hales any different? You just go around, just go around and you go. Is it easier? Is it harder?
Pretty much the same time. He's always been saying, he's always been, you know, like he's trying to say, he's always got to see how we're going to react. He always knows how to bring the best out of everybody on the team. He always been like
It's hard to get past that 110%. He's always that. It's just constant 110%. So it's hard to get past it. I've never treated him as he would be holding in person one day, different person next day. I feel like he reacts to what he said to me. So however we do the intensity, how much intensity we create.
I feel like it's not really too much of a difference from when he was here before, everything was still the same, we just wanted to not, we there, but we're not all, we there, we get it.
Coach, why did you come back?
Why did I come back? It's been a hard time. You know, there's several reasons. There really are several reasons. Number one, there was a team. You know, there's a team. I love Butler High School. My kids graduated from Butler. Butler High School gave me an opportunity to have a career, gave me an opportunity to make a name for myself, and I was needed. You know, at that particular point, that time of year, I was needed. You know, we could have tried to find a different coach or go off campus, but it just, you know, not to, it needed to happen. You know, we're not going to talk about other things later, but I couldn't let Butler High School just completely go. You know, it just it meant too much to me. It was too important to me, and I just, you know, I don't know if I can say that I owed it to these guys, but I owed it to them. You know, a lot of these guys came in expecting to play for me, and if anything, I do have a big thing about me that I feel really bad for the guys that played last year. Because this wasn't the plan. You know, like I said 3 months ago, I was planning on sitting next to you guys right now. So, you know, I kind of felt a little bit like, I hope those students don't feel like a shortchange about trying to get away from them. Just, you know, and circumstances come up, and like I told other people, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And I'm glad I did it. You know, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm here with these guys. I've always loved to do it. You know, one of the topics that came up earlier, though, I mean, some of the issues that made me step away are still some of the issues,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But you know, I'm just learning how to be a little bit better about them as well. But you know, more than anything, I just want not just these guys that are up here right now, but you know, and I think Sam touched on earlier, just how much your football team and the success of your football team impacts your school. And you know, if I can help Butler be a better school, if I can help Butler and just be a more positive place, sign me up. I'm here for it.
Awesome.
Is there anything in your year off that you've learned that you can add to team this year? Anything you kind of brought with you from that year off?
Yeah, definitely. You know, and like I said earlier, just seeing how some of these other coaches work. You know, there was really 3 big days last year where I missed it. And you know, the first two, they're not chronologically, but one of them obviously was the day of the Independence Day. That's no issue. The second one was their first playoff game. I'm watching these guys get excited and get prepared. I don't know if you guys remember me. I had to stick in my head in the weight room that day at the end of the day and stuff. But the other day, as weird as this may sound, I was at wedding team's practice. And I was watching Coach Capone and his team. And Coach Capone and I didn't know this until I went to that practice, but he and I are extremely similar in the way that we do things. In that we want our kids to have a good time, we want our kids to do this. We also want to know when it's time to go to work, it's time to go to work. So more than anything, it was just a reinforcement of a lot of things that I already believed, but to actually see it put into place. And to go and see, Mountain Creek practice and see Kennedy out there with 160 guys and being able to organize them. And, to come over here to the big IDK and watch those guys practice coach times and all that stuff. it was great. It was great, and like I said, it enforced a lot of things, but more than anything else, it gave me another appreciation for how good we have it at Butler. And, you know, and like I said, we've got 100% of our coaches part-time at Butler High School already. So it's just, we have something there that nobody else has in that environment. That true, like, we've been in it for not 4 years, but 14 years, 24 years. We've got guys on staff that have been there since the school opened. So, you know, being able to be a part of that, just that unique perspective is awesome.